I thought it would be a wonderful conversation and a great gift to Dreamforce if we invited him back, and maybe you could have a dialogue to kind of bring another dimension to what you've delivered the most incredible presentation on the environment I've ever seen. So please welcome rock and roll legend Neil Young. So I'm just going to turn this back over, and I thought it'd be really interesting if you guys want to have a little chat between the two of you. We'll just stay here in the corner, and love to hear your thoughts on the environment.
First of all, Al, before I sit down, I have to say, and I mean this, and I always have felt this, and I want to say this to you publicly, that what you did when you put out Inconvenient Truth, and you stood up, one man standing, and among your political peers, and you stood up and you delivered that message to the world and took it in the face for doing it. That I admire that courage so much, and I thank you.
I appreciate that. And let me say to Mark, I saw the link vote. Neil drove the link vault to my house in Nashville, Tennessee, and we went out for a ride. And my best friend and I were in the house, and we came out separately about 5 minutes apart, and both of us, without coordinating, had the exact same comment. I said it first. I said, "Oh my God, that's the most beautiful car I've ever seen in my life." And my best friend said the same thing.
Hello?
It's an amazing deal. And thank you, Neil, for your amazing commitment to this issue and for integrating it into your website and into your music and your tours and all of that.
Well, you know, it's true that I get around and I see a lot of people around the world just like you do, and I have a chance to push things. I have a chance to, if you don't mind, I can't sit in too fancy, but I'll be moving around. We can be together. Yeah. I saw Mark dance. Did you see that? I like the way he moves. So really, what we're doing and what we're trying to do is such a huge thing. And when we share it with the world, and we share just little comments, little things that we can do to enlighten people. And sometimes, with me, sometimes my numbers are a little bit off, but the whole thing is, the whole momentum of everything is what counts, not 1% or 2% compared to Google or whatever, or some other place you would find fads. But when I was in Europe this summer, I gave all of the people who came to the shows got free T-shirts with Earth written on them. And I told them, I said, you know, back where I come from in the USA, 75% of the pesticides used in the USA are for cotton. And these shirts are organic cotton. They don't use any pesticides, so there's no runoff into the rivers. There's no danger to the plants and to the animals. And you can wear these and they feel great. And so I'm giving these to you, and all you have to do when you put it on is just remember to give something back to the earth. Do something for the earth. And so in my field, I can do all kinds of things like that, where I can make contact with people. Because I studied what you say, and I know that if I started going down that road with them, that they would get antsy and distracted, because all of the facts tend to make people glaze over. But if I could put a beat to it, and then crunch it at them really loud, they get immersed in it and they start singing it over and over again when they go home, and they get the facts through that, one way or another, some little message. And so that's what I try to do everywhere I go, to make it work that way. And also, you know, building on what you've said, it's such a great opportunity for the business sector and for the world that we are turning it around. And the politicians, like you said, the politicians, you need to make them accountable and make them do make them respond to what we're saying, to the reality. But behind it all, there is a force moving against progress, which I believe needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And that is the corporate control and the corporate influence on our political system.
Yeah.
And that is something I know you've spoken about to me and we've spoken about a little bit, but I see it as being a huge thing where we have some young man or young lady that we believe in, that we elect to go to the Senate or to go to the House of Representatives or even to the presidency. And we see how they are influenced and changed, and the power becomes such that they need the support of the corporations. They have to make these deals to stay in power.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, Neil, and let me make just a couple points about exactly that. This country's, it sounds falsely prideful to say the greatest country in the world, but it is. And yet, all of us who are Americans, I think, are feeling a little heavy-hearted right now because of the influence of money in politics. And we became the greatest country by making better decisions than any other country for a long time because we used the wisdom of crowds. The Constitution allowed us to collect the wisdom of the people and sort through it in the democratic processes and so forth. So when our country was founded, it was the age of the printing press, and individuals were kind of on an even basis. They could get into the conversation in print real easy. And if they had something to say that people agreed with, others would jump in and say, yeah, I agree with that. But starting in the latter part of the 20th century, the last third of the 20th century, television just pushed newspapers down, and a lot of newspapers going broke. Another one closed shop in San Francisco this week. And they're still around, but television's been dominant. And they've got gatekeepers. Individuals can't get into the conversation on television very easy. You've got to have millions of dollars to buy ads. And the corporations will have ads, and some of them are fine. But politicians learn that the only way they can get enough money to put their ads on at campaign time is to get it from special interests or very wealthy people. So the average congressman now spends an average of 5 hours per day begging for money on the telephone and in cocktail parties, and they don't have time to do what they're supposed to be doing under the Constitution. But here's where the hope is. And Salesforce is a part of this whole big change. And that is the internet is going to be even more powerful than television. And the internet is, this year for the first time, ad dollars onto the internet crossed over ad dollars on television. And already you see individual bloggers and individuals on social media really beginning to make a difference. And individuals on the internet, same as with the printing press, it's easy to join the conversation and to use facts and knowledge to hold people to account. So I'm optimistic about this, but we need to speed this up, and climate is the way to do it. And one other point, where the economy is concerned, which you mentioned. Everybody knows that the way we got out of the Great Depression was mobilizing for World War II. Well, now the world is still struggling to escape from the Great Recession. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a huge project where we needed to mobilize people around the world to do jobs that couldn't be automated or outsourced to other countries, like retrofitting buildings and installing solar panels and so forth? Well, we've got a major project like that. We need to do this to save the future of human civilization. But in the doing, we'll put people to work, get more money into the hands of families that need spending money, and get the economy growing again.
Yes, that's great. I hope we can do that, and I hope that we can address the what's going on with the corporations that are paying for all of these things, that make it so that it is difficult to get around what they're doing. And we have laws that make it legal for them to do this. So Citizens United law, even though we overturned it with majority of votes, majority of Americans did not want Citizens United, it's still there. And that was wrong. I think,
Well, in my experience with the majority of Americans vote a certain way doesn't always guarantee.
I understand.